The physics of the finish line. Nobody tells you that some people don't start the race. They are placed at the finish line before the gun goes off, before they have a name for what they have, before they understand that the floor they are standing on took other families 4 generations of sacrifice to build. You are one of those people. And this is what that actually looks like.
Stage 1. The Platinum Cradle. Birth to age 10. You don't know you are wealthy. Wealth at this level is invisible from the inside. It is simply the temperature of every room you have ever entered. You cannot perceive it any more than you can perceive the air, because it was there before you arrived, and it is the only condition of your existence you've ever known. What you do perceive is the weight of things. The house is not a house. It is a property, a proper noun attached to the land that predates your family's ownership by a century. The ceilings are high in a way that suggests the architect never knew the meaning of a budget. The floors are a wood so dark and close-grained that they seem to absorb the light rather than reflect it. There are people who work here, permanent fixtures of your environment. You navigate your relationship with the household staff with an instinct that was never taught, but somehow transmitted. A genuine warmth balanced by an invisible distance. Your friends from school do not come here. It is an unstated gravitational pull. Your home exerts a privacy that bends behavior, and you naturally move toward visiting others rather than being visited. Travel, too, is a frictionless constant. You won't understand what a commercial airport is for years. For you, departure is a private terminal, a walk across the tarmac, and a silent aircraft where seats face each other across mahogany tables. Your childhood calendar is a river organized by geography. January in the mountains, Easter somewhere warm, and 6 weeks of summer in the same recurring chalet. Before school, there is the real work. Mandarin tutors with doctorates, university-level math instructors building your intuition, and Olympic-level coaches for your hobbies. You aren't being taught that the source of money is private. You are marinating in it. You are learning the grammar of power in the gaps, the confidence that doesn't require volume, and the ease of moving through rooms as if they were always yours. Most importantly, you are raised in the complete absence of financial anxiety. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine, learning that the world is stable and the floor will always hold. This cellular certainty is the most valuable inheritance you will ever receive.
Stage 2. The Ivy League Guardrail. Ages 11 to 22. At 11, you leave home for an institution that has been producing your specific kind of person since before the country was founded. The black brick campus is a landscape of buildings named for the descendants who still populate the enrollment lists. The annual tuition exceeds $60,000, a figure discussed by no one inside. You are simply here with the correct people, at the correct tables, on the correct vacations. The instruction is exceptional, but the real education is the social architecture. You are building a detailed mental map of power. Which surnames travel internationally, which old fortunes are intact, and which are mere performances. These friendships are not casual. They are structural infrastructure. The person across the table at 17 will write your reference at 22, or introduce you to a fund partner at 30. At 18, you move to a university with an endowment in the tens of billions. You study economics or political philosophy, but the credential is what matters. It signals that you are not just wealthy, but formed and serious.
Here you meet the self-made students, brilliant, driven, and operating at a higher intensity than you. You feel a strange structural vertigo watching them climb with everything they have toward a floor you were simply placed on. It isn't pride or guilt. It's the awareness of a foundational unfairness so large that neither seems adequate. By your final year, the gravity of social capital takes over. The doors are opening not because someone is holding them, but because the hallways were always yours. The Ivy League isn't a ladder for you. It is a confirmation. It provides the narrative that allows your inherited floor to be described as a destination you earned. You graduate not with a degree, but with a confirmed seat at the table. The story is now available for the world to see. A young, bright mind ready to take on the world, ignoring the fact that the world was already handed over before the first lecture even began.
Stage 3. The seed round graduation, ages 23 to 30. The meeting takes place in a room with a view of the water. Your parents are there, along with the family's private banker and chief investment officer. They present a document. Your graduation gift is an $800,000 capital allocation, structured as an initial position in an LLC for your first professional venture. This represents the total removal of the catastrophic downside. While others make survival bets with their life savings, your runway never ends. You launch a venture, perhaps a fund or a company in a sector identified through family introductions, because your world requires the performance of engaged commerce. Your first round closes in months because your network was built on ski slopes and in dormitory rooms. Credibility arrives through association. You are trusted because of who you are connected to. The first years are difficult, and you work long hours, but your mistakes are absorbed by structures designed for it. A miscalculation that would ruin a peer is routed through the family's tax position as an educational expense.
By your late 20s, you've built real competence, but you realize the venture was never about survival. It was a learning experience with an allocation attached, a process of transforming you into the steward the family office expects you to be. The money isn't just capital, it is a shield. It allows you to focus on the physics of the business without the arithmetic of hunger. You hire the best people because your name carries a premium, and you scale at a rate that feels natural to you, but impossible to everyone else. You aren't just running a company, you are maintaining an image. You are the young visionary, the heir who decided to grind instead of coasting. But deep down, the math is simple. You were given the answer key before the test started. You have the luxury of patience, the greatest competitive advantage in the world of finance.
Stage 4. The portfolio heir, ages 31 to 45. At 31, the manila folders are finally opened. You see the full architecture, real estate in 4 countries, discretionary trusts optimized for decades, and minority stakes in private companies that have generated quiet income for generations. You realize that the money technically belonging to you is the least free money you will ever encounter. Every move requires family council votes and unanimous consent. You are not a creator of wealth. You are its custodian. For you, zero is not a reset. It is a failure that spans generations, the breaking of a chain designed to outlast you. The family office operates from a floor with no sign on the door. The team of CIOs and attorneys optimize for preservation rather than return. They bet on the geological stability of assets, not the speculative upside. You learn to balance the weight of stewardship, knowing your time horizon is not your lifetime, but the span of the structure.
Your philanthropy becomes institutional, embedding your name into buildings and research centers. This is stewardship, a series of long meetings and silent rooms devoted to the continuity of a structure you are not permitted to redesign. You carry the weight of being the point of failure that must never happen. The weight isn't heavy because of the work, but because of the silence. You move through a world where everyone knows what you are, but no one speaks the truth. You manage a portfolio that is essentially a living organism, requiring constant care, but offering no personal creative freedom. You are a passenger in a multi-generational vehicle. Your life is defined by the guardrails. You don't innovate. You maintain. You don't disrupt. You preserve. You begin to see your life as a single link in a very long, very heavy chain. The ambition of your youth is replaced by the stoicism of your position.
Stage 5. The silent architect, age 46 and beyond. You have stopped talking about money. It is no longer something you have. It has become something you are, the water you swim in. Your name is absent from financial magazines, but present in museum committees and university endowment boards. Power at this altitude looks like a seat on a board or a quiet call to a dean. It is the patience of someone operating on a time horizon so long that the near term is irrelevant. You hold land and legacy positions that were old before you were born. Your investment philosophy is the century, not the quarter. You watch your grandchildren with the attention of a scout, looking for the one who can carry the name without being consumed by it. The selection has already begun. Who treats the staff with respect? Who demonstrates discipline? And who possesses the ease this position requires?
You sit at your window and hold the weight of it all. The accumulated decisions and inherited gravity. It is a life without friction, but also a life without the freedom friction produces. You were placed at the finish line, while others are still at the beginning. The ladder is real, but the floor was built by people who no longer have names anyone remembers. It will hold long after you are gone. That is the thing about floors. They are designed to outlast the people who walk across them. You realize that you never actually ran the race. You were the steward of the stadium. Your life was lived in the heavy, mahogany-scented silence of the finish line, watching the rest of the world struggle to cross a line you were born behind. You were the architect of a legacy that doesn't need you to survive. It requires your complete devotion to ensure it never changes.
The ladder of wealth is a real structure, but we often forget that the floor was built by people whose names have long since faded from memory. It will hold long after you are gone, because floors are designed to outlast the people who walk across them. You realize, looking at this life, that the Nepo baby never actually ran the race at all. They were merely the temporary stewards of the stadium itself. While the rest of the world struggles to cross a finish line through sweat and sheer arithmetic, these few exist in a mahogany-scented silence, watching from behind a line they were born already past. This frictionless existence is the ultimate luxury, yet it comes with a price tag that isn't measured in currency. It is a life lived within the heavy guardrails of legacy, where the freedom to fail, the only true freedom in the world of finance, has been systematically removed. You are left with a choice of perspectives. You can resent the finish line, or you can begin the long, slow work of building a floor that your own descendants will one day take for granted. The physics of money don't care about your feelings. They only care about the structures you leave behind.